Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to get really honest and talk about something that's been a huge part of my life for the past 6 months. My first ever indie game. It's now out there on Steam, and while I'm incredibly proud of it, I'm not particularly satisfied. And in this video, I want to dive into why and what things I've learned along the way. And hopefully this will be useful for other game developers who are still making their first game. So let's jump straight into it. So my very first game, it could be called a passion project. I'd say it's called a huge learning curve. And it's something that I poured 6 months of my life into. That's half a year. I'm not even going to try to guess a percentage, but maybe 0.5% of my life I lived to 100, if not 1% or 2%, which, looking back at it, is a lot. If you want to do this consistently, then that's like, I don't know, every game is about 5% of your life, which is mental. But the goal was pretty simple with this game. I wanted to finish a game and get it out there. And in all fairness, I set the deadline for summer. It is now summer. There is a game on Steam. So it's complete. And it's this 3D platformer that's set in the future, and you've got to climb a tower to take the power and redistribute it to the people. So if you did find that interesting, then have a look on Steam. The demo is free, so it's in the link below if you want to have a look. But moving on from there, let's be real. Looking back, there are some pretty clear areas where I have missed the mark with this game. I think I can't think of the word now. I can't think of a word for it, so I'm just going to say visuals over gameplay. I can't think of the word that comes for visuals. My biggest takeaway from this whole experience has been that I have focused way too much on making it look good. The visuals are decent, and I like the futurism and stuff, and I'm happy with the aesthetic. But underneath that, the gameplay itself, beyond the core platforming as hopping from platform to platform, is just not that fun. It lacks depth, variety, and engaging mechanics, and moving from that into the second point, there is no unique selling point. This is critical, and something I have completely overlooked. What makes my game stand out? Honestly, not particularly that much. Yeah, it's a platformer, but it doesn't have a unique hook. It might have a unique look, but you can't equate them to being the same thing. Players will not buy a game as if it is art, because they can go onto an art website and buy art because it's meant to be art. Buying a game that should be a game that looks like art doesn't really account to the same thing and won't sell as well, which is what I found. And I think the unique selling point is that special something, and it says, okay, this is why you need to buy me rather than another game. Because currently, my game is a platformer, and there are significantly better platformers out there that probably do cost a little bit more, hence why I priced my game at like £2. But even so, a player is so much more likely to spend the money on a game that just does what you're trying to do better. So that's a major issue that I have messed up on here. But saying that, there is something that I think I should distinct to define. I don't know. Pride versus satisfaction. I think this is a crucial distinction. And despite all these shortcomings, I am genuinely proud that I finished it, because publishing a game on Steam, even a small one, is a massive achievement. And here's the kicker. I'm by no means satisfied. I've been thinking a lot about the difference between pride and satisfaction. And for me, pride is about acknowledging the effort and the learning and the completion of a difficult task, such as building a game. And it's the feeling that says, I did that, it was hard, but yes, I still made it. And crucially, you can still be proud and feel the urge to keep developing, whilst with satisfaction, on the other hand, it feels like an endpoint. Once you're truly satisfied, you're going to stop. And in game development, stopping means you're not growing. So while I'm proud of Powerful, I don't necessarily feel satisfied with it at all. And this lack of satisfaction is what is making me incredibly motivated to go on to the next phase, which is phase 2. The growth ahead is pretty exciting for me. From this point onwards, I truly believe that my development journey, if that's what you want to call it, and the quality of my future projects can increase at a significantly more rapid rate. I built a foundation, I've made all the mistakes, and now I know what to focus on for a proper commercial release. Yes, this game is being sold for money because I think £2 is more than worth it for a game that is, if you want a platformer and you just enjoy playing the basic platformer, then it's fine. It's casual. But I don't want my games to be casual and something that, you'll just do for the sake of playing a platformer. So this is all of the key lessons that I learned as well along making this 3D platformer, and probably why this is why I'm glad I made it first as the first game, but I will never be making a platformer again, mostly because I don't particularly like platformers, but they are very good to start with, and I covered that in an earlier video. I've got 4 different things that I've I've grouped together to say that okay, these are the things that have been pros and cons to it, basically. I'll start with the art pipeline. Learning how to take a Blender model, how to texture it, how to UV unwrap it, and even animation, and move that all into Unreal Engine and get it working in there is how you take art and make it into a game. And this step, or this ability to bridge the gap, is, I think, one of the most important things of game development. And if you don't know how to do that, that's why making a game will be so difficult. Now that I know how to do that, the second game becomes so much more easy because I'm not going to be learning how to do as many things. I'll still be learning, but not all the basics, which takes so much longer to do. Also, I find that as an individual, modeling, texturing, all of that they're difficult, but when you move them together, that's when they become truly complex. So again, getting that out of the way before moving on to a game where you just need to be doing that and know how to do it is very important. Secondly, blueprints. Now, I can't code for shit. I tried it with in year 9 after I watched a Danny video, go-to YouTuber, and I found that blueprints solved this issue of not being able to code. Originally, programming actually stopped me from doing game development and is why I wanted to do graphic design. I then found blueprints, which is basically just advanced Scratch, and, started with a couple basic tutorials, but the real learning from especially this whole project, it came from taking parts of those tutorials and adapting them, twisting them, and combining them to achieve my own specific goals within the game. So, in other words, it's about problem solving and understanding the underlying logic rather than just watch and do monkey see, monkey do. Monkey do, monkey see? I don't know, but you know what I mean. Game design and level design. Okay, so this is where I fell down. This, I think I am the most disappointed about my game. I really think I've missed the mark on the whole game design element, and level design is actually okay, but the game design is not. As I mentioned, there just isn't enough engaging gameplay. I realized that having visuals that are pretty interesting to look at cannot compensate for a lack of thoughtful game mechanics and well-designed levels that challenge and entertain the player. This is my biggest area for improvement moving forward, as I feel like having a generic platformer that if you strip away the visuals and your game isn't fun, what do you have? You have nothing. So I'm very glad I focused on the visuals because it needed it. But yeah, focusing on the visuals over the gameplay was a very dumb decision, and I will not be doing that again. But I'm glad I did it with this game because, again, I'm in uni. This is kind of like a grace period for me, and I hope that other people have the ability to do this. Some people don't. Some people go straight into game development, and I have a lot of respect for that because, my God, going straight into it gives you a lot of motivation, but it feels a lot scarier, I think. Anyway, moving forward, the final part that I've taken away from this, and the only pro, to be one of the only pros, is the story. I think that having a story at all in a game gives the player a reason to play beyond just the game itself. It provides context, motivation, and even an emotional connection that was largely missing from pretty much any other project I've tried in the past. So, saying all of that, that is my honest reflection on my first indie game, Powerful. Yes, it was a massive learning experience, and while it's not perfect, it is 100% the biggest part of the mountain. Maybe not the biggest, but one of the biggest parts of the mountain, getting started. So I'm excited to take all of these things that I've learned into the next project, and I will be updating you guys on what is happening next. I've got to wait a month, realistically, until I can talk about the actual statistics for the Steam release. I don't think they're going to be that good, but I will let you guys know just to show what 6 months of the game developing game can look like. So if you find that useful, then, drop a comment. I don't know if you're making your first game. If you are, then how is it going? If you want to go into more in-depth discussion, then feel free to join the Discord. The link will be below. And if you did want to have a look at the game, even just download the demo, the link is below as well. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for all the support that has been given to Powerful. It is a very nice thing to see your game actually get into the hands of other people, especially on Steam. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.